minor at first, but when we reported on the MS-13 gangs, they were very identifiable, right? They all had specific tattoos to identify them. That's different with this gang, right? I mean, we're noticing that that's not part of their membership. What else can you tell us about who these guys are?
So these groups are armed. They are deeply tied to the Maduro regime, indeed in some cases acting on its behalf. They have the capacity to have real wealth, that is, there's money flowing into Venezuela and then to these criminal organizations that are conducting exactly what we think about terror and jihadis and cartels as separate.
Looked like he lost a lot of weight, Mike Pompeo.
To act when they infiltrate countries like ours. And you're right, their physical manifestations on the ground are very different than we saw with MS-13 and some of the other gangs. It's going to be a bear to find these folks. It is going to be even harder to deport them. And so the fact that we failed to stop them at our front gate, to stop them at the border, and we have allowed them in, and now, as you described, have provided protections for some of these immigrants who have come here unlawfully with legal protection, TPS, protected status for them. It's just absolutely nuts, Sandra, and it is highly risky for whether it's drugs or weapons or crime or terrorizing citizens in our biggest cities. This is something that the next administration is going to have to deal with, and if Vice President Harris is in charge, this will get dramatically worse over the next 4 years.
And you'd be remiss to say, oh, well, I don't live in one of these cities that is welcoming in these huge sums of migrants, like case in point, Denver, which does designate itself a sanctuary city that did say all are welcome and welcomed in a lot of these migrants. Aurora's next door and doesn't have share the same politics. And the mayor joined us and basically said, this is the result of that spilling over into Aurora. This was the mayor earlier. Listen.
Denver's historically been a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
Aurora has not, and that's why we took the position again that we were not going to expend any public dollars on this migrant crisis. We did everything we could to quite frankly keep them out of the city because it's not our problem. This is a federal problem. Somehow we got sucked into this, and we are a victim.
Yeah, because guess what? They're right next door. And so this greatly affects them and all of their residents. Now to the politics of the moment. Okay, Mr. Secretary, I think we've got some breaking news. We'll have you back on soon. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. All right, John?
Always good to see the Secretary. Yes, this is some breaking news coming from the New York City courts. Judge Juan Marchand, who has been the presiding judge over former President Trump's so-called hush money case, has made a determination that he is not going to go ahead with the September 18th sentencing date for the former president, that it will be delayed until after the election. This had been a really fraught decision for this judge because people had observed, Sandra, that if he had gone ahead with the sentencing, then the former president could have accused him of meddling in an election. And if he decided to delay the sentencing until after the election, no doubt he would get hit by a lot of accusations that he was acting in Donald Trump's political interests as opposed to in the interests of justice. But the breaking news coming to us just a couple of minutes ago, Judge Juan Marchand, the presiding judge in the so-called hush money case with Stormy Daniels, has decided to delay the sentencing for the former president until after the November election. This is a big decision, Sandra.
Obviously, the implications of the timing is huge, considering the upcoming election, November 26th, many days and weeks after Election Day. So this just in, and we're going to get brand new reactions shortly. Obviously, we're talking about the judge overseeing former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. This has obviously taken center stage to many other cases we've been watching this week. But the sentencing now, John, delayed to November 26th, as we learn brand new details.
The former president was speaking to this just a little while ago at his New York City Trump Tower headquarters, saying that this was a deal, that there was nothing that was wrong with it legally. Now, don't forget that the Manhattan District Attorney decided to bootstrap that case, which would have been a misdemeanor, to the commission or possible commission of a federal crime, election interference, or at least affecting the outcome of an election, and turn that into a felony. And in doing that, he got around the statute of limitations. The jury came back with the verdict that the former president was guilty on all counts. But we're not going to learn about the penalty that will be imposed in this case, if a penalty is imposed at all, until sometime after the election. And if the former president wins the election, Sandra, that could potentially change the outcome of literally everything.
All right, if you're just tuning in now, we just got word that the judge in this hush money case has delayed former President Donald Trump's hush money sentencing until after the election. You can see the date on your screen there is November 26th. John, just looking at the court document here and making my way through it to see if there's any further details that would be pertinent, but obviously the news is that this will be happening after the election. John, there will obviously be political debate and conversation around this in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, there's
I
no
saw